Wake up, buyer payer people. It's a beautiful day. Go grab yourself another cup of joe and say hello to Jim and Michelle Rhodes on the Buy Here Pay Here morning show. Take it away, you two.
Hey,
Wake up,
morning.
Buy Here Pay Here people.
Yeah.
It's almost lunchtime in some parts of it.
It's almost lunchtime anywhere in the world at any time.
Okay, all right,
So,
fair enough.
It's still morning. It's still considered AM.
Yeah. So welcome, happy Friday, friends. A little bit of a lag with some of our hardware here, so we apologize if there's any kind of a streaming issue today. We think we're good. We're going to proceed. We're going to start telling our story for our Friday. Big developments this week. A lot of things that we've been working on for quite some time are taking shape, and so it's an opportunity for us to share some of those announcements and kind of give folks an idea what's in store.
I'm pretty excited about
you got stuff you want to kick off before we get into that?
Sure. We spoke about this a few weeks ago that I stepped away for a while and stepping back in, and just I mentioned before that my stepping in was going to be down the track of Buyer Payer Nation Television / the Institute, Buyer Payer Institute. Well, we've got all the corporation documents filed and the important things done, and we will be starting the rebuild of the website. But I wanted to share with you all new logos. Anna Marie Beck from
Anna Maria.
Anna Maria. I'm sorry. It's like
my mother's name is Anna Marie.
Yeah.
So
she's been helping me with the new logo, and she is turning it into a moving with audio for our broadcasts.
For like the Stinger.
For the Stinger. So just a big shout out to her, and thank you for helping with that. And then you'll be seeing within the next few weeks a preliminary launch of the new platform with both Nation Television and I call it Nation TV. So Nation Television and the Institute and one, because everything in the Institute is video.
Right.
And so it just kind of made sense that we would combine the two and create just a bigger platform. Obviously, as you can see from the tagline, educate, equip, and empower. So we're really excited about that. That should have the Stinger. I'll probably be able to share it with y'all, and maybe even have it on the morning show intro, outro, which is so there's
just a quick shout out for Anna Maria. You can find Anna Maria on Facebook at Anna Maria Beck and Digital Attention Online. So she's really great at this kind of thing. And
we created Buy Here Payer Nation Television how many years ago?
4 or so.
4 or so. And so it's kind of been our platform.
Right.
And it's time for a refresh and relaunch of the whole thing, since we're going to be combining. So that was just something that we're kind of excited about.
All good. Yeah, looking forward to that. It's so I think our tie into today's conversation as it relates to BHPH Nation TV is we have begun signing dealers into the way AI over your shoulder. She's modeling the logo. The logo for our AI launch and White Ways AI. So folks who follow the podcast, especially our Wednesday broadcast, know that we've been working on AI. We've introduced AI personas and had them be part of our conversations on the podcast in the past. And so as we've been kind of working behind the scenes, I think the single biggest development we talked about weeks ago was the development of the core DNA for personas. And I think it's really it's about being foundational, and it's about playing a long game, and it's about solving some of the biggest problems that we see in the industry. So we chose early on in development of AI to aim at the customer retention thing, to aim at customer relations and sort of what we call advocacy And so this is really about, the way I've been saying it to our dealers is, this is about creating a persona that dealers can trust to place with their customers.
Mhm.
And it's going to do customer relations very well. And so
Well,
we're excited about getting that out there.
yeah, customer relations it's the biggest foundational piece. It's like building relationships and trust and help and teaching with all
Right.
of the things that we've created and under education, all of that. It's about the long game, and it's about understanding that relationships with your customers are primary.
Right.
And you know, you see a lot in there, like, you know, how do you improve collections? Well, this is how you slap the hand better.
Right.
You know, this is how you create a system that it's harder for whatever. And this is not a collections thing. You haven't even really talked about what it is that is coming for and the name of the thing.
Maybe
So
we
I'm
talk
excited
about what it is and what it's not.
Okay.
So folks can get a look at our initial offering by just visiting whitehatway.ai. So we've got that domain and that website, and there's a landing page there that kind of explains what the early warning product is. And it's a subscription.
It's called an early warning system.
Yeah.
And so it's like after sales and before collections has to get on anybody's behind about getting late.
Yeah. So another
it's
way
that
to
in between.
Right. So it's
Yeah.
another way to think about. I've asked dealers to think about. We talk a lot about this thing called ghosting. We've had podcasts on the subject of customers ghosting us, right?
Mhm.
And so if we think about that, a problem that dealers currently have in the buy your payer segment is they may have a customer who's been just fine. They paid just great for a long time. And then suddenly they just quit paying and there's no contact, there's no communication, and the dealer ends up picking up the car and they have no idea what happened. And so if that for any dealer is 1 a year, if it's 5 a year, if it's 10 a year, then when you can develop customer relations and make your customers better informed, more engaged, feel appreciated and respected as a customer. I think that's what most of us, if we just look at us from the consumer side, most any place we go, we like to be known and remembered and that the people we're doing business with appreciate, our business. So this is what the advocacy does. Our early warning AI communicates with customers in a way that, will it be perfect? I said with our dealers that it'll be what we want it to be because we won't release it until it is. Like we'll be working with some dealers to do this. And so I think this is the fun part of what is happening. So let me tell the part about the documentary, Michelle. Let me go into kind of what's happening with the documentary. So we had dealers enter into an LOI. They paid.
We have early dealers that are entering into agreements for this.
And we extended that invitation. We haven't even publicized the website. So we just took it to our V8 members and we said, look, we're going to create 20 founding member spots. And we're going to make those available to you guys in V8 first. You've been with us. We appreciate that you've been a customer with us. We want to give you guys an opportunity to take those slots. So when the first 2 dealers stepped forward and signed, it just happened that they were out of the same V8 group, just coincidence. And so they know each other. And they're on different software, which is a pretty important element to what's going to happen here.
And also our conversation
today.
Yeah.
Yeah. One in Florida, one in Oklahoma. So it's that becomes interesting because I asked them in our very first preliminary meeting as we move toward onboarding and kind of them doing their part of the onboarding. I said, how would you gentlemen feel about going public in a documentary fashion with our rollout of this AI? Would you be okay with us sharing your names and faces in the conversation?
Yeah, which is, this is a new thing. This is Jim and Michelle's rendition of what transparency looks like.
Right.
And it's a really great opportunity for dealers to shine, the product to shine, and DMSs to shine.
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now,
and other partners in the picture, but primarily I think it's going to be DMS because mostly what we're going to be working with is the customer list, right? So we're going to be working with the customer list, and our version of AI our initial rollout of AI is only going to be communicating with customers who are current. So this is part of what,
and especially new customers too.
Starting
So
with new
it's
customers, that will be
Yeah.
make sure that we start to bring them into the fold more successfully as they become new customers, and then we'll of course extend to all customers who've been with us for however long.
Part of that is that part of this process is that the customers will be introduced to them.
Yeah, that's
by
right.
whoever it is that's closing.
They will become familiar with White Hat Way.
Yep.
They will become familiar with the advocate, whatever name they've chosen for their advocate. And so it's been really interesting working with the dealers. They both immediately said, yeah, I would do that.
Yeah.
So this lets us be transparent as we move through something collaborative. It won't be perfect. There will be delays. There will be setbacks. There will be successes.
There
will
is
be
in every venture,
Yeah.
but it's going to come out the other end something that will be incredibly valuable to a dealer and
Yeah.
a book of business.
Yeah,
and to the customers too.
Absolutely. Yeah, it should really be a good value to the consumer as well. So I think this is why we felt like we wanted to be transparent, because it is meant to be collaborative. It is, we've never created AI personas. Like we're not going to pretend that we know exactly how every part of this works. We do have tech partners who are much farther down the track on that and have successfully launched
and
AI
we talk
personas.
to different people that have dipped their toes in this, and they're like, oh, that's hard, or oh, that's gonna require a lot of time and capital. And just like all of the horror stories, I guess you'd say. Well, we just are very, very, very fortunate that we have a partner that's come in that's it's like what we are building is he's built the foundation, very much so. And so we're putting this overlay of White Hat Way and how we intend to have it delivered. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, and I think the part that we're contributing is the that core DNA thing. Is like to help people understand when anybody goes out and creates an AI agent. If you, Michelle, decided tomorrow that you wanted to go create an AI agent and you wanted to name it Joseph, and you were just going to go do a job for you, there would be things that you would have to code into the development of Joseph. Who is Joseph? How does he operate? What does he do for you? What does he not do for you? And all those things.
Yeah. And it's not just you get an engineer, whatever. I mean, in my career, I've worked with lots of engineers, and it's not an engineer task to code their DNA into this persona. This is going deep into the DNA of White Hat Way. And it's like, and Jim has just spent so much time through different modalities of just documenting all of the things. And I mean, hours and hours and hours of going through and getting all of these pieces so that it has an understanding about how they are going to be going forward to represent the dealership. And what we see, or what I've seen when I see test things from different companies in the industry, out of the industry, and an AI persona is that it's pretty straight lined about how they interact with their whoever it is that they're communicating with. And we had, we've been working on this for a while. And last year at the National Convention, just before we had a group of people, we were doing a White Hat Way certification with businesses. And we introduced them to how far we had gotten. And I have to tell you that what we had built then, prior to June, far exceeds a lot of the other things that I've seen.
Well, if you think about one thing that makes our situation different, and one of the things that gave us that advantage in June, walking into that room and introducing our persona to the room, was that we had granted our AI platform access to our Google Drive storage, which means
Mhm.
all of the transcripts of podcasts and all of the content that is,
Yeah.
training materials and everything that has been
Mhm.
the formation of White Hat Way and what it
Mhm.
represents in terms of an
Mhm.
approach to business. So this is a white hat philosophy. This is a
Transcripts from
long
every
game philosophy.
podcast.
Yeah.
It's just, all
So
these.
early on, I think you and I
Uh-huh.
were blown away that it just seemed to get it. It understood
And
what
it
we were
comes
building
back
and
to us.
what problem we were
Yeah.
solving.
I
Right?
remember one of the questions that was asked that I was like, okay, this is like, it was a test to me of how deeply it understood,
Oh yeah.
was when one of our founding sponsors was there and asked,
Uh-huh.
who are the founding sponsors?
Right.
And it just blew it out of the water.
Yeah.
And it's like, it talked
nailed it,
about why these people are our founding sponsors, what it means to be a founding sponsor,
Sure.
and who the founding sponsors are.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive.
So let me tell you another significant element to this is
and I wanted to say shout out to Ken Yang.
Yeah. Good morning, Ken.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm super excited too.
Very cool. Yeah. Thank you. I would say that one of the things too, we have data history now with these dealers who are joining us through our V8 affiliation. We have data history back to January of 2024, which means that when we deploy the AI, we will be able to chart any progress that those dealers enjoy in terms of charge-offs and repos and that sort of thing. So we know that the customer retention factor will go up. We believe that the persistent and effective engagement of customers will also translate into fewer repos, right? That we'll be able to,
and it'll be tracked. I mean, we'll be watching those things.
Imagine how this advocate, so the name that I used with these two dealers, just as an example, if let's say Maria goes to work for this dealer in Florida, then imagine how well it works when they have met Maria from the day of delivery. They have had dialogue with Maria that has been impressive. Now imagine how Maria becomes positioned to be an advocate in any kind of conflict resolution. Because one of the things that we saw, right,
absolutely,
yeah, as it grows, it's like you could position yourself so that White Hat Way in there can be positioned to moderate conflict and find solutions and really build trust. That's the biggest piece of what happens here is we build trust by maintaining dialogue and by making trust deposits with the customer. Month after month, we go in there and make deposits with them.
And this is not, you hear an awful lot about the concern. People like either people are like all in or they're well, there's three camps. All in.
Yeah.
AI scares the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Or I don't know enough it's frightening because I don't understand.
Yeah. And I asked that of our dealers when I said, hey, when you were debating about whether to sign this letter of intent and step into this understanding, what were you concerned about? And one of them said, it was just the unknown. Like, I don't know what it's going to look like. Right. And
and it's the, and I know that you go to a conference, you go to different things, and it's like, that's the thing everyone's talking about. And we watched this podcast recently, and I can't remember whose podcast or whatever, but it described Jeff Bezos from Amazon was talking about, I can't remember what it was that he was calling it, but it was when a product comes out, it's either a vertical product or it's a horizontal product, right?
Right.
And a vertical product is something like the iPhone. So, there are lots of other verticals that stand stacked next to it. And, we want to watch the who's got the biggest market share, all of that kind of stuff. A horizontal product is the invention of the light bulb. Right. It changed everything. And it wasn't here for a minute and gone. Right. It changed everything. It changed how long people could be working, what time in the morning they could start working. I mean, it changed. It created just in how many more daylight hours people had to be able to do the things. It changed people's bedtime schedules. Right. It changed everything. Right. This one product. AI is this product.
Yeah.
AI is, and there'll be lots of verticals.
It's foundational.
Product. It's foundational. So it's not going away.
Right.
And so that was one of the things that we were we were very well aware of that, and we've talked about this many times. It's like, it's Wild West.
Yeah.
And so who's the sheriff around here?
Right.
And so this is not necessarily a sheriff, but it's an option that is encoded with ethics,
right,
and kindness,
compassion.
and compassion. I want to just that thing when we were introducing Sage,
right,
to the room of people before the last conference. One of the people, because we told them, come in and give us questions. Let's test her on like it's a job interview. And so we had a couple of the founding sponsors there. We had and other businesses. And so one of the businesses, it's like, and it's so funny because when someone's like, I got something, it's gonna trip it up, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, hey, they're just very flippantly. So customer comes in, they only have like 6 months left on their contract. They've been diagnosed with stage whatever, one of the highest cancer, and they just want to turn the car in, self-repo. What do you do? And Sage just like, I wanted to cry because she said, well, first off, that's a pretty big thing happening in their life. And so the first thing is to acknowledge that's like, yeah, I get you, sister. She didn't use those words because of Ryan, but she stopped before giving the straight line answer and said something from a squiggly line perspective of, that's a difficult thing.
Right.
Cancer's hard. I would first do this and then move into this.
Right.
And, how can we work with you and all of that? And that, to me, was the biggest representative to what this core DNA is about.
Yeah, it is. The core DNA is significant. And I thought about bringing, I didn't bring the actual documents, but I'll bring the documents. It's very proprietary, so we're not going to share all the I don't remember how many pages. It's 6 modules and about 4 pages each. So, there's quite a lot of content there that forms the approach to customers, like the actual customer relations. And so the things like respect and dignity and all the things that belong in there, and compassion, and it's how to communicate. So one of the things that you begin to create is as you develop an AI agent. So let's continue to march down the path with Maria. Maria now has the coding. She understands what it is to be a White Hat Way certified. She is White Hat certified in our program. So she understands what that is. So that means that unlike a person that you hire, an individual human that you hire, this Maria is going to show up with being really good at customer relations. She's going to speak every language on the planet, and she's going to be very good with customers. Now, what job do we need her to do?
And here's
now, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're starting customer advocacy. We're starting very purposefully at customer advocacy because we're going to verify that the customer relations side of this is built and can execute in the way that we have coded it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it'll be able to move on to collections and the other elements, right?
If we choose to.
Yeah.
And it may do the job and then create a better environment. One of the biggest concerns that I see of AI fears is that it's going to take people's jobs. This is not one of those. Most dealerships do not have a customer advocate on their team.
Right.
They have a very taxed collection department. They have a very taxed sales department, and they have a dealer and maybe a shop too. That's their team. They don't have someone designated. Your job is to build pathways of communication and relationship with this customer.
Good.
And we have in many, when we've gone and done on-site visits and we've done coaching for dealerships, we've talked to them about having a customer advocate. And I can think of one where they kind of hybrided it, and it was they handled like all of the scheduling with different repair shops, and they were the ones that were reaching out, and they were the ones coming up with like what promotions or what what things are we going to do that are community based. And it's just, I love that they just kind of took it, made it their own, and ran with it. But they have one, And from all indications, it's been a positive addition to the team.
Yeah, for sure.
And so this is something, because we know most dealers, you know, they are feeling crunches of economies and all of that, like everybody else is. And so, you know, and just the headache of how do I hire? Who do I hire? What do I, you know,
Sure.
all of that. All of this is taken away. You don't have to worry about it. Your collections team is still there.
Sure.
They're still intact.
Right.
And they probably our assumptions is that their job will become less confrontational.
Yeah. I think if we succeed in creating the relationship, that's the part that we will have a chance to solve more problems. Yeah. So I think, you know, when you look ahead to what does this look like when you reduce delinquency by I just touched the screen, make sure I didn't mess up any of the settings there. But I just swiped my keypad by mistake. Anyway, I think as you kind of put this thing, if you can reduce the dealer's charge-offs by 1%, 2%, it's going to be a huge ROI for them. So this is the part that we get to have better engagement in the process. Yeah. So even the customers are going to stay with us. We're going to be more engaged. We're probably going to win more referrals. All that kind of stuff is going to be a secondary benefit. But I would say the other thing to understand about the coding, because we've learned a lot, you know, we started in ChatGPT. In the last 6 months, I've worked in ChatGPT, I've worked in Gemini, and I've worked in Claude. And that's not important, except that we have exposure to all of them. We kind of understand strengths and weaknesses of each. The tech people will be building this AI persona to operate from where it's going to operate. And the thing I want to talk about quickly about is our DMS providers, because in our documentary,
that was kind of like the big thing.
For our documentary, and I'm not going to say the names of the DMS systems today. I'm not even going to say the dealers' names today. We just said we've got one in Oklahoma and one in Florida, the first two to sign. And because they're in the same group and they know each other, it makes sense for them to be. It will invite others as they sign and join the thing. They can be part of these conversations, but we're certainly going to focus on the build out of these two dealers. And we're going to be extending the invitation. I've got the little short deck ready. I'll show it on the screen here. This will be going out to the DMS providers, both of the DMS providers. Like I said, there are two different DMS providers with these two dealers. So that's good. That lets us work with different ones and kind of work through this process together. But we're going to invite them to be part of these sessions. So here's the format. We're going to have a weekly sync as we move through this it's roughly an 8-week build. Okay. So we're going to have a weekly sync. That'll be a recorded session. We record all of such meetings of that type. And then we will take clips from those recorded meetings, and then we will do a live reaction once a week. Probably won't be in our morning show slot. It'll be at a different time slot.
Well, it's a different
format.
It's under the Tech Watch.
Yeah, it's under Tech Watch Nation TV. So basically, you're going to have a chance to find the Tech Watch. We'll publicize it across a lot of the same channels, Facebook and YouTube, what have you. But where it broadcasts will probably be on YouTube only. I don't think you and I have sorted that part out exactly. But the idea is that the DMS providers can come be part of those recorded sessions as we work through the thing.
The DMSs, the dealers, anyone else involved is going to be,
and our team, our development team. And so we'll have that recorded, and then we will take clips from those recorded sessions and play those live and react to them. So we'll talk through the progress that's been made, the setbacks that we encountered, kind of where we're at in the journey. So we're going to be able to take dealers, especially those dealers who are really not too sold on AI and they're not sure what it's going to look like. I would say this will be a perfect chance for you to get inside not only I'd say the process itself for how you go about deploying something like this in a way that you're satisfied with the end result. I think this will give dealers, vendors, all these folks a chance to get inside. And of course, I think they'll learn as they go through it what way is aiming at to be a little bit different than what, has been kind of the history of AI in our segment so far. But we've been very thoughtful. Let me just kind of take folks through. I'm getting a little distracted here. Let me take folks through this deck. So, we're asking them, this is again going just to and this will go out today. I will email this today to the DMS providers involved.
That the dealers use that are already signed up. And
that's right.
So there's every possibility that there will be many more.
Yeah, for sure.
DMSs
Yeah,
that will be
we've got
part of this
others in the wings that
process
are
too.
waiting to sign. Which quick aside,
Mhm.
I haven't had a chance to connect with all of our V8 dealers. I had told our V8 dealers at one point that I wanted them to be signed up by April 30th, that we would be opening
Mhm.
those seats. I want to tell our V8 dealers that might be listening this morning, we're saving a seat for our V8 members until we get a chance to talk through all the materials and get them to a place where they can make a comfortable yes or no.
Mhm.
But in the meantime, I'm saving a seat for them. So just be aware, because we've got that founding member program where they get a little
Mhm.
special deal. Now, so it says a dedicated what is TechWatch on AI. This is kind of what we have a special TechWatch track that is going to be AI. TechWatch will be looking at all technologies, but this will just be the AI
Just to
side
be
of it.
around White Hat Way AI.
Right, and this will be
it's
right.
one of the programs that
Right.
will be under TechWatch.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And so this happens, and so now we're starting into this 2-dealer journey as a documentary, and so we're extending that invitation, and it's kind of lets them see that we're excited
Yeah.
to work together with all the folks in the industry who are actively working to solve the same
Mhm.
thing. We just know that when we work together on projects of this nature, we have a chance to really have a profound impact and a
Mhm.
very positive impact on a segment that could really use some help. And AI is a great force multiplier.
Mhm.
And we just know that it's got to be channeled in a way that we're going to send our AI out there wearing a silver star, or this
Yeah.
white hat,
A badge of some,
yeah, whatever that
Good
badge
guy.
looks
White
like that
hat.
represents the white hat certification, so that people can see how it's different.
Mhm.
And there are going to be other layers associated with that going forward. For today, I just wanted to kind of share how it's going to look with this documentary track.
When a few weeks back, there was a post on a private Facebook group that I listened to, and it was around some of the friction
Mhm.
and friction that is very prevalent with certain DMS providers
Okay.
and with different softwares. And I was like, hey, how can I help? And so when Jim and I were talking about this, it's like that conversation kind of wove itself into, we're going to do this thing really transparently. We're going to invite the DMSs to be a part of this conversation if they choose to.
Mhm.
It will be it'll be a transparent conversation, and we will, I know that there are really great DMSs out there that are willing to work. I mean, we've dealt with a lot of them. There's so many out there that are great, and there are some out there that are kind of struggling
Mhm.
with understanding that their relationship with their dealer
Mhm.
is in jeopardy.
Right.
And so this is kind of like good training too.
Yeah.
Like
Good.
this is how these things this is the type of conversation we should be having. And this is, being very, very open and working together, and
Mhm.
how you collaborate on things and how you come together to make
Right.
things work. And we always have been from the day we started, have believed in a big table.
Right.
Everyone is invited to the table.
Mhm.
Everyone is invited to the table.
Mhm.
So it doesn't matter if we've already got someone from this sector of whatever, or this sector. It's like everyone's invited to the table. And so we're all gonna work together to make this industry, to build this industry into something that it's like we really are supportive and work together and collaborate and really truly want the success of the dealer, and ultimately every single software whatever should lead to the success of the customer.
Right.
And so this is a really big part of that. I'm
Yeah.
really excited about
Well
it.
said. Yeah, I think that's a good place for us to wrap up. I think there's a lot more. I just know that we'll be recording additional meetings with these 2 dealers, and getting this invitation out to DMS providers, and hopefully they will join our documentary track. And we just forward to being able to kind
The
of
dealers will
walk.
be there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, we look forward to walking dealers through it, whether
Absolutely.
the DMS folks are there or not. So.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining, everybody. We really, really appreciate you being part of the conversation. And you know, if you are a DMS and are interested in, you know, getting more information, participating, whatever,
Right.
let us know. If you're a dealer, there are some seats available for our founding dealers,
Founding members, yeah.
founding members, and this is how we're building, and you get a seat at the table
Right.
on how certain
How it's
pieces
built.
of
We
this
build it together.
are built. So give us a holler, or if there's anything else that we can help with.
Of
We'd
course.
be happy to help you with. All right, everybody, have a great day, and yeah.
We'll see you back here next week.
All right, thanks, guys.